everybody, welcome back to Kruse Control. It is Thursday, June 1st, 2023. Welcome to Kruse Control, the home of entertainment news. I am your host as always, Brian Kruse. Welcome back on this special Thursday edition. Apologize for yesterday. We had some issues with the streaming software this week. It's been kind of up and down. We had some issues right now, but we are live with you right now. Welcome to our Thursday edition. So happy to have you here where we talk about news from people that actually work in the entertainment industry. And I am back here with my lovely co-host who works at Hawk Anamorphic Lenses, producer, actor, writer, Miss Sabrina Vittori. Sabrina, welcome back to the program. How you doing tonight?
I'm wonderful. How are you, Brian?
Doing good now that we're live. Hey, we had a slight little hiccup there, but it is what it is, right? That's how it goes, learning new stuff all the time with this streaming software. But we're happy to have everybody here tonight.
Technical difficulties, it happens.
Technical difficulties. And if you are bearing with us, thank you for being here now. Come on in and join us. Thank you. And it's going to be a great show. It's going to be great. You know why it's going to be great, Sabrina?
Why?
Because we have celebrity photographer himself in the house tonight, Mr. Chris Fabregas. That's right, CFab Media. Chris, welcome back to Kruse Control. How you doing tonight?
What's going on, guys? I'm glad to be back on the show. I love the energy, by the way. I feel like I need another energy drink to be on the show, but I'm ready to do this. Let's go.
Yeah, we got to get into it, It's like, that's how we do it here at Kruse Control. We come in hot, we tell some news, we have some fun, we do some opinion pieces, and of course, we're here for everybody out there and just telling them what's going on, because there's always stuff happening, regardless if there's a WGA strike, potentially a SAG-AFTRA strike, potentially a DGA strike, but stuff's still cooking in Hollywood, still going down, right, Chris?
It's always going down. That's right. And there's always fun stuff to talk about. So
yeah,
let's do it. Let's go.
Just like, it's always cooking in Hollywood, just like there's always some breaking news. All right, everybody. The very first thing I want to dive right into, is Al Pacino. And he just dove into something too, by the way. Bad joke. But Al Pacino's girlfriend is pregnant. That's right. She's pregnant, 29-year-old, and everyone's kind of going nuts about the age, but apparently they're in love. They're in love. He doesn't care. He's shouting to the heavens. He's in love. And he's going to have a baby. They're 8 months pregnant already. That's crazy. They've been kind of keeping it quiet. And it's one of those things people are like, well, he didn't tell or she didn't tell him. She's maybe a gold digger. It's not true. She's actually comes from money. She's a producer in Hollywood. She's had a production at Sony, of a production company at Sony, and she dated Mick Jagger before, who's 79. Also dated another billionaire, Nicholas Bergeron, who's 61. And now she's with Al Pacino, and apparently they're so in love. Al Pacino has 3 children already from 2 different women, so this will be his 4th child, and there's a 54 age gap between them, but who cares? It's love is love. And the one thing I laughed about this that kind of made me kind of roll a little bit was that she said that it was conceived naturally because he is still very much able. And I was like,
oh my.
But
wow.
Pretty good, right? Chris, what do you think about this? Is this good for Al or what?
I mean, I don't know if it's so good for Al. It's good for her. I know she wants a kid, but unfortunately, the child is going to be he's going to be 100 years old by the time the child's in high school. So I don't think he's going to be making too many sporting events or acting classes or drama plays or choir shows. But, hopefully they are in love. Hopefully it is for the right reasons. And hopefully they do take, having a child's a big thing. It's a big responsibility. So hopefully they can both handle that. And, if they're in love, then good for them.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, what is it's just love, We just talked about not too long ago that De Niro was having a kid too, and De Niro was like, "I'm so happy for my buddy that he's having a kid too." And it doesn't matter how old you are, if you can still have kids, have kids. If you want to, if you're in love, right? Sabrina, this is not bad, right? What do you think?
I mean, like Chris said, that it's unfortunate for the child is going to, at a younger point in their life, they are going to be fatherless. You know what I mean? Because he's already in his 80s, and most people don't even live to be in their 80s. And I'm not, maybe he'll live to be 110, and I hope he does, but for a kid like it's anyone's father could die in a plane crash or a car accident or whatever. So, I mean, it's possible, but it's just much more probable for this child to not have their father around for, their college years, I guess. So that's kind of sad, but, I don't want to say that money solves problems, but, they obviously will have all the help that they need. They're not going to have to worry about putting them in the best schools or like having, babysitters or nannies or whatever. So I think they'll boy or girl. Do we know if it's a boy or a girl? Just a child.
There's a child. They haven't said yet.
Hopefully the child will grow up fine. I'm just confused. Like she dated Mick Jagger and another billionaire. They've been dating for 6 years. She's 29. So they've been dating since she's 23. Like who? Was she dating Mick Jagger when she was 16? Like, I'm very confused.
That's a good question.
Very busy in the older community from a very young age, apparently. You go, girl.
Very much so. She's been looking for that right person. I bet Mick Jagger probably didn't want to have a kid, maybe. That's probably what happened. She's probably trying to have a kid, and she likes older men, and they probably didn't want to have kids. And Al Pacino, they said this was an accident. It wasn't planned, but it's a very happy accident. And as Chris said, she has been wanting to have a kid, so how much of an accident is it really,
Well, his kid can play with Robert De Niro's kid, and they'll, have a wonderful, couple fabulous time. They can all get together, the older gentlemen and younger ladies, and then little babies. It'll be very fun. I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, I think so, too. It's going to be great. It'll be a fun thing for, for them to be like, okay, my dad was freaking Al Pacino, but that's, it's good news for him. It really is. You know what's good news for some people? That's that you can camp out at the Conjuring house, but not for others, because who wants to do this? That's the question. Who wants to do this? But if you want to, it's out there right now for $300 a night, starting at $300 a night. You can camp out, not inside, but outside of the Conjuring house. Because if you want to go inside, you got to pay a separate fee to actually tour the house. Because it's now a business now to go stay at the Conjuring house. And they're saying that there is still a lot of paranormal activity here, and it's still very haunted, the ground itself. So weird stuff happens outside too, and they're going to have tours, and it's going to be this big thing. But for me, I'm like, why? They have 8 different camping sites set up here. These people are cashing in. People have tried to live in this house. Of course, it's in Rhode Island, but it hasn't ever worked out for anybody, so now they're going to make it a tourist attraction, which I don't think those ghosts are going to like too much. I got to tell you that. The demons and the ghosts and all that shit. And this might last one weekend, or maybe it'll last years, but I don't think I'd do this. Chris, would you do this? Would you go camp here?
To each their own, but I definitely would not camp there. It's just not my thing. I think there's bad vibes. With the whole, supernatural and spiritual stuff. And it wasn't like a good spirit. It wasn't like a happy ghost that was there. It was like paranormal, crazy activity that was happening in that house. And for me, that's a hard no. I would definitely pass on camping outside or visiting inside.
So inside or outside for Chris.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't. Look, these people are nuts. People do it though. People love the movies. The movie's been going since like 2013 or something. So it has a big fan base. So I could see people wanting to do this, but it's hairy. It's very hairy. Not for me either, Chris.
Yeah, I was just reading that it was one of the most, was it the most popular horror movie of all time now, or it just passed some kind of box office record as the most popular, series of horror movies of all time. So it is. Really
I think it's the highest grossing franchise, I think.
Yes. Thank you, Sabrina. That's what I was looking for.
Sabrina's a big fan of The Conjuring, so she's going to be there day one, right? Sabrina, you're going to go camp out outside the Conjuring house? You're ready for this? You got your sleeping bag packed and everything ready to go?
Fuck to the no, bro. Like, are you insane? Like, there's no way. Like, when Brian likes to put on scary movies and then go to sleep. So that's super fun for me. He also likes to go see scary movies very late at night. And I recently quit smoking, which is awful, but I would come home and have to smoke a cigarette after being in a movie for 2 hours. And I would be like, you have to stand outside for me because you forced me to watch that movie. And if something kills me, you'll feel really bad. So you have to stand here while I smoke before we go in the house. Like, that is how freaked out I get when I watch a scary movie. I do really like them, and I do really like The Conjuring. And I think that it's done really well, and it is extremely terrifying. There's no way on God's green earth that you would catch me sleeping overnight in a tent anywhere near that residence. And especially it's like $300 to $400 for like one of their little tent things. But if you book 2 nights, you have to pay an extra $50 if you don't want to check out and check back in. Like, what? What are you talking about? Like, that's a money grab if I ever saw one. Then their tours go from like $20 to like $1,200. And like, there's like all these weird rules. You can't bring any booze. They search your bag. I'm like, dude, who wants?
No booze.
If I was gonna go to a haunted house, you bet your ass I'm gonna need some vodka. You know what I'm saying?
All the booze.
Something. There's no way.
They're probably afraid
So
people are
it's
gonna get
like,
crazy and start trying to like fight each other, or or some people drunk, they
I
might get freaked out
guess.
more, maybe.
There's like a town ordinance at like 10 p.m. Like it's quiet time. So like you're still allowed to explore, but you have to be quiet. Like there's all these weird rules. And like if I'm gonna pay, upwards of $600 to like spend one night and do a tour or whatever, like I don't know. And they're like, they kick you out at 10 a.m. So like you're supposed to do all this investigating at night, and then they're like, just don't sleep, leave at 10 a.m. and just drive home and crash your car. Like it's just, I don't know. It's super weird. I'm not into it at all. But like Chris said, to each his own. Enjoy if that's what
Yeah.
you want to do. Go for it.
Something else that was like really super weird was that Sam Jackson was a voice on the Alexa. That's right, Sam Jackson. I mean, you had Shaq. Shaq was a voice. You had
Nice
Melissa
picture.
McCarthy. I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying. People like, I had this, so I knew of this beforehand, but it was also weird. I gotta say, it was pretty awesome to have Sam Jackson be like, "It's raining, motherfucker," shit like that. It was pretty great. I'm just saying, but it's going away. It's going to be gone. Alexa is going to take away Sam Jackson, going to take away McCarthy, Shaq. All the voices are gone. They're purging them from the service because they're saying it just wasn't working, apparently. It started back in 2019, and there's a couple different reasons why. They're saying maybe it wasn't working, but the official statement from Amazon was, after 3 years, we're winding down our celebrity voices. Customers will be able to continue using these voices for a limited time, and then you can contact our customer service if you would like a refund. Now, these went from like $1 to $5 just to get these. So if you paid that and you want your money back, you can. But Sam Jackson's going to be gone in the next couple days. And they're saying McCarthy and Shaq will probably be there till like September. And then they're going to take them off the service. And there's apparently a new service coming to Alexa. They're revamping Alexa. And they're using some chat GPT type thing. And they're calling it LLM, large language model. That's what they're calling it. So that's going to be rolling out. And it's going to be more AI based for Alexa.
Language.
Yeah, LLM. And it's going to change everything completely, and she's going to be smarter. The upgraded version of Alexa's coming. So do these voices not work? Is there something else that ties into it? But if you have them, they're going away. And that's unfortunate. I wish you pay for them, so why can't we just keep them? But nope, not anymore. They're taking them all away. So it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Sabrina, what do you think? I think this is a good thing or a bad thing they're taking these away?
Well, we have Sam Jackson, so I'll miss him cursing at me every now and again. That was kind of fun. Ask him a question or tell a joke, and he gives you a couple motherfuckers, which is always a good time. But I don't really think it adds much value to it, to be perfectly honest. It's more of like a novelty thing that was cool for like the first 5 days, and then you're like, oh, okay, that was fun. And then like maybe it's late night one night, and it's 7 years later, and you're like, oh wait. Let's ask Sam Jackson to tell us a joke. And, some people are over and you're like, oh, ha, 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 and then it's over again. Like, I don't think it matters one way or another, honestly. So, I mean,
Yeah.
Some people paid for it. So like, as long as they're getting their money back, like whatever. But I don't think it's a big loss.
Yeah.
And Alexa definitely needs to get smarter, by the way, because she is dumb as fuck a lot of times. So good for whatever large language you're doing there, because she's
The large language model.
She never knows anything that I ask her. She can't even turn on my light sometimes, which is really very frustrating. So good work, Amazon. Get on it.
She's getting a brain transplant, that's for sure. Chris, what do you think about this? Do you think this is a good thing that they're updating Alexa, or do you think they should have kept this kind of, celebrity voices and catchphrases?
Well, first of all, I agree with Sabrina. I think Alexa definitely needs to be revamped. There's so many times you ask her a question or she just doesn't understand. So I think this new AI like learning model will be a great upgrade. This is probably an unpopular opinion, but until just now, 2 minutes ago, I had no idea that she could change her voice. So, and I know no one in my family knew that either. So I didn't know there was a Sam Jackson, Shaq, Melissa McCarthy. I had no idea. So, that could be one of the reasons. Maybe they didn't do enough to promote it, or maybe I'm just living under a rock. But I feel like if you're on Alexa, she should say, hey, do you want to try a new voice? Or, hey, check out this. And my Alexa never did that. So that would have been a great thing to maybe, get an extra $1. Yeah, I'll try out Shaq for a little bit. But I just had no idea. Also, there's probably a huge licensing fee to pay for those voices.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, totally.
So maybe, maybe it's like people like me that are, not up to Alexa, maybe they weren't making their money back, and maybe they're just going to use it they're going to put all their money into this new learning model,
That's probably probably right, big time. And the thing is, the fact that you didn't know about it, I guarantee there's even like there's probably a vast amount of people that had no idea. I only randomly saw it because I'm always searching for crazy shit about Alexa. How many Alexas are we having go off right now in people's houses? That's the question. But
no.
I'm always looking for stuff. So I was like, Sam fucking Jackson's on here. And it really, they weren't the best. I didn't get McCarthy. I didn't get Shaq. Sam Jackson's awesome, but if there's not a lot of people putting money into it and you're paying these licensings to these people, on paper it sounds great. Oh, we're gonna make a few $1,000,000. We have how many people with these devices? Easily. We can pay Sam Jackson like 500 grand for this. And then they're like, oh shit. I don't know if he got 500 grand, but I'm just saying like whatever it was, they probably thought it was fine.
Seems slightly
you know?
excessive.
Might have been. It wasn't $250. You know what I mean? But I'm saying
No, definitely not. They can have my voice for that.
Yeah, they did. They paid something for this. I mean, these people aren't doing this for free. They're not doing it for sack lunches and bus rides to school. You know, they're not doing that shit. You know, they want cash, money, bling, bling. And Sam Jackson's another person. I know we see him everywhere, but come on, you know. That's all I'm
Hey,
saying.
I have that. Do you guys? There's that app called Waze, and you can drive around, right? And it tells you the
Yeah.
fastest
Oh, yep.
there. Now with Waze, it pops up and says, "Hey, do you want the Backstreet Boys to tell you how to get to Target, or do you want like In Sync to like drive you to the baseball stadium?" And you're like, "Oh, sure, I'll try it out." And they sing you along, right? So that's something that popped up. It let me know. It lets you know that there's a voice available. But maybe that's something Alexa could have tried. Is maybe more of a commercial, like, "Hey, try Sam Jackson for a day."
Yeah, they could have
Yeah.
done something, to make it work, but they just didn't. That's the thing. They just didn't do it. And there wasn't enough publicity. So that's got to be a factor in this. And again, if this new system is so great, it might be so difficult to make Sam Jackson make AI that they can't make that work. Maybe she'll have new voices. And Alexa can change her voice. She can be a man too if you want her to be a man. A man,
That's true.
a British man, an Irish man, an Irish woman. She can be whatever you want her to be. But she's gonna be smarter, and that's gonna be a good thing. That's all I'm saying. Not trying to
Thank
shame you,
goodness.
Alexa. Not trying to shame you, but it's good for you.
I
It's
am.
just good for you. Well, that's going away. Something that also is going away, but not quite yet, is the Blacklist. That's right, the Blacklist, everybody, is in its final season, and they're moving to Thursday. So it's starting right now. The move is starting tonight. Tonight. You can watch the Blacklist at 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. They're doing 2 episodes, and they're going to go back to back. And it's going to be the beginning of the end for this show. NBC's ordered this 10th final season. We knew this was coming, but it's going to end on July 13th. And they're going to have a finale that's 2 hours on July 13th. We're going to be building up towards that. Of course, Thursday is a big night for TV. So that's why they made this move. It's the end. This has been doing great, by the way. I mean, honestly, this last season, they got 29.1 million viewers on NBC. 29.1 million fucking viewers. That's insane. That doesn't happen ever. Like 4 million is great for people. That's like old school TV numbers. So it's great for them. They're probably second guessing letting it go now because it's been doing so well. But 10 seasons is a long time. It really is. But NBC is saying goodbye to the Blacklist. And if you're a fan, it's probably a sad day. It's probably a sad day, but you still got time. You got a lot of time. You got now, and you got a couple more weeks, and then you can kiss it goodbye, unlike Ted Lasso, which is done for a lot of people. So, yeah, Blacklist. And I know I didn't watch this. Maybe I should watch it. Maybe I should have been checking this out for 10 seasons. But I like James Spader. I think he's awesome. I think he's a great actor, fucking great. And it made me want to watch this espionage, and it seems like it's very like formulaic cop show, but different twists. I don't know. Sabrina, you didn't watch this, right? I don't think you watched this either, right? What do you think about this show?
I'm thoroughly shocked that it's been on for 10 seasons. Like I knew it existed. I did not watch it. Same thing as you said. Like I love James Spader, and he's an
great.
amazing actor. It's just I don't know. It never appealed to me. But like I feel like I heard about it like when it started, maybe like probably like through work, like people were working on it, or I was asked to work on it, or what I mean, something like that. The name came up, but when I saw it in the breakdown today, I was like, that show is still fucking on.
Yeah,
Like
I
what?
know.
10 seasons, 211 episodes? Like Jesus.
Insane.
Good for everybody who worked on that show, because that is a really, really nice run.
It's
And I'm
the
sorry
cast
that
and
it's
the
coming
crew.
to an end, but yeah, but that's nuts. Kudos to them. It's like a NCIS type situation. Like I cannot believe that it's still happening, but obviously the viewership is good. It must be a great show. Like, good for them.
Yeah, good for them.
And
That's what I say too.
after 10 years, I don't think you could be too sad about that cancellation. You had a good run. I don't think it's not a
No.
cancellation. They're just ending it, right?
Yeah, they're just ending it. So it's getting its own ending.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
it's
they
on their
built it all
terms,
up.
which is
It's,
nice, you know.
which we talk about on the show
Can't
all the
ask for
time.
more
That's
than
nice
that.
when that happens, you know? And it's great that they're getting
Absolutely.
that. It's awesome for them. And like we're saying, Chris, that's probably, you know how it goes working as crew on this stuff too, and cast and crew. It's awesome for them, right? 10 seasons does not happen, right? It just doesn't happen. So, I mean, hell, man, that's so cool, all right? Good for them.
10 seasons is huge. I mean, good for the cast and crew for working that long. I mean, 29 million viewers is a lot. So
It's insane.
it'd be interesting to see what they're going to replace that with. But you know, good for them. You know, it's
Probably
nice
crap.
Yeah, shit. Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting to replace a show like that. That's so successful.
It's hard. It's hard to do that. Just like it's hard to remake The Little Mermaid. That's what I'm saying. It's hard to do it, but they did it. It happened, it came out, and as Disney's been doing this, they've been remaking, as we know, how many of their original animation movies into film. Of course, you have Aladdin, The Lion King, Beauty and the Beast. Well, how's this level up compared to them? How's it match up? That's the question. So opening weekend, they made 117.5 million domestically, and they made 185 internationally. So they made a 302.5 million opening weekend. Pretty good, right? $250 million budget. Probably at least another 100 million on marketing. So they haven't made their money back. And out there, they're saying, prediction wise, the way it's going, it might just break even, but it might not make a lot of money. They're expecting bigger numbers opening weekend. Let's base it next to everything else. Okay, Aladdin's opening weekend. All right, overall, they made 226 million. All right, so better than Aladdin. Lion King, 433 million. It didn't do that good. Beauty and the Beast, 454 million worldwide.
Dang.
So Beauty and the Beast is still the winner when it comes down to it. And also on top of that, Beauty and the Beast, probably the best adaptation of any of them, I would say. It's the closest, it really is, compared to this. They jumped out, and you know, a little bit of spoiler, but they cut the whole La Poisson. They cut that whole song. They they put in this Scuttlebutt song everybody's talking about online. Do the Scuttlebutt with Aquafina rapping, which everyone's going nuts about because we didn't need it. It happened. We didn't need it. And they're talking about, the hair and makeup person was talking about just the hair for our Ariel alone was like $150,000 to do the hair for her.
Yeah.
And it took 12 hours in the chair. Or no, it was like 2 hours in the chair. I think it was like 2 hours in the chair. And it was like $150,000, Brian. $150,000. So a lot of money went into this. I think they were expecting big things, and it didn't do as well yet. Of course, only opening weekend. We got plenty of time. But when it comes to like this, I guess I said to Sabrina about it. Like I saw this opening weekend, and I said, you have the material right there. If you're directing this, you got your storyboards right there. You've got a hit right there. Why do we got to change it so much? Why do we got to take things away that worked? Why do we got to add stuff? And people said that big thing is like the music was so great, and then they're changing music. It's like you already have a hit. People are looking just to see the live adaptation of it. Just let people have it. Sabrina, you saw this. What do you think overall? You think that it will make its money back? Will it make even more this opening weekend, just a taste of it? Or do you think this was bad to make this adaptation?
I don't know. I'm kind of over the whole live action shit, honestly. Like I mean, my three favorite Disney movies of all time are Little Mermaid, Aladdin, and The Lion King. And as we all know, I hated Aladdin, where they
Yep.
added a rando best friend and a song that sucked, and it was stupid. And then they also really didn't do Lion King any justice either. So like I was kind of, I mean, Beauty and the Beast was not my favorite Disney movie, so I wasn't upset by it. I was like, it's fine, you know what I mean? Like the actor that played the Beast, Legion, he was also on
I
Downton
like
Abbey. What
him.
is his name? Oh,
Tom is his
I
name,
like him
I
too,
think?
but he can't sing. He's not a sing. Like it was. It's like Lin Manuel Miranda, like playing Hamilton. Like I know you wrote the play, bro, but like you're not a singer. Like we all know you're not a singer. Like we get it. You want to be a singer. You're a songwriter, and you're amazing at it. And Aladdin is my favorite
Dan
musical.
Stevens.
I'm not gonna lie. Thank you, Dan Stevens. That's his name. But he's not a singer. He's not. He did not. He couldn't sing. You know. So that was a little weird for me. Like, why are you doing a musical with someone who can't? So he played. He's a good actor, but it was just weird. You know. In this, like everyone, I guess, could
The
sing
cast was
minus
pretty good, though.
Aquafina, but she rapped. Um, I don't. I wasn't. I don't know. I thought that Melissa McCarthy did a really good job as Ursula. Some people are in opposition with me on that, but I really think she did do a good job. I think that uh, Haley Bailey,
Yeah. Yeah.
Haley Bailey. Every time I say it, I'm like, it sounds wrong. It rhymes. I think that she did a great job. I think that Daveed Diggs was the real star of this
He was
film.
great.
He
Oh, so
was
good.
amazing as Sebastian. Javier Bardem was Javier Bardem as a merman. So there was that. And I wasn't, I wasn't really into the fish looking like a real fish. Like they're dead in the eyes. Flounder was weird. It just, I don't know. I don't think Prince Eric needed a fucking song. Like it just don't like it is like you're saying, you had a storyboard, you had a blueprint of a very successful movie that people, including myself, loved and grew up with. And if you're gonna do that. Don't
Just
do
do
something
it.
else. If you want to do something else, do something fucking else. Make a different movie with mer people and change the story. And you know what I mean? Like I just don't know why. I don't know. I thought it was better than Aladdin, and I thought it was actually better than Lion King too. But I still was not thrilled, if I'm being honest.
And then even Scuttle's like, the seagull. She's like
Very
flying
annoying.
down, eating fish in front of in front of
Flounder.
all of them.
Weird.
Just
Super
eating
weird.
fish in front of Flounder. Flounder's like, hey buddy, how you doing? Just eating the fish. How you doing? I mean, your buddy or your cousin or your uncle or your nephew or your brother, whatever it is,
I don't know.
That's fine,
And
though.
They cut out a lot of key moments that were very important, in my opinion. I don't want to like do too many spoilers, but there
Without
was just a
getting
lot
too
of things
deep,
that, that were missing for me, and like it. I don't know. It kind of annoyed me a little bit. I
these
think that
numbers
the
are
actors all did a
decent.
really good job. They did a good job. The
Yeah.
actors did a good job. The animation, in my opinion, was shit. Like it was all very washed out. You're under the sea with all these great things, and it was all very like monotone color wise. Like there was nothing bright and vibrant that was like. But I really feel like the CG and the animation was not great, which is weird because that should be Disney's fucking wheelhouse, shouldn't
Should be
it?
the jam.
Like I feel like there was a lot of a gray tone over everything.
Yeah.
In the ocean world, like when they were, when she had legs and they were on land and it was regular film, it was fine. But I feel like all of the underwater shit was extremely like washed out. Like it was just, that also was unimpressive, and that was like half the movie. So I'm like this on it.
Who was the actor that thought it wouldn't make $1 billion or something?
Oh, Mina. Yeah. From
He
Aladdin.
played Aladdin. Yeah.
Yeah.
He got all that backlash, which is crazy, a couple weeks ago, and people wanted to hurt his family because he said, "I
It's
don't
insane."
think $1 but maybe
Insane.
maybe he knew something. Maybe he was just being honest at that point, right?
Yeah.
Also, they spent so much money, which is crazy, on promotions. I think Haley Bailey went to Disneyland and sung a live song there in front of people, and they just spent so much money, and it seems like it would have done better this first weekend. But Sabrina's right. You're changing. Just keep the same original stuff. That's what people want to see is the original songs, and don't add anything. And here they are trying to change it up, and you can see it's obviously not hitting in the box office. So it's kind of sad that they're changing it up so much.
It fell a little short, and it's only opening weekend, but I mean, we'll see. I don't think it's to make $1 billion. There's no way it's making $1 billion. It would have had to make a lot more this opening weekend, and it didn't. Even the numbers, like Fast 10 made like 300 million overseas, and this, you know what I mean, compared to this. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't see it doing as well. Again, I didn't think it was horrible. I thought it was fun. It's fun, and the music's fun. Of course, the music that I know and I love, I liked. I didn't need the new songs at all. Prince Eric didn't need a song. He didn't need a song. I was like, I remember I was watching. I'm like, we could have cut that. We could have cut that. I mean, it's like that's
it was
new.
just
I'm
like
oh, we could've cut
Jasmine's.
that.
It was Jasmine's song. It was the same thing as Jasmine's
But-
song in Aladdin. It's like we don't need to hear from you right now. Like, please stop.
But I mean,
It's
the
not
cast.
about
Was,
you.
But I like the acting across the board. I thought it was really good though too. I just think that like Sofia Coppola almost did a version of this like 6 years ago, and she was gonna take out the music and make it more raw and stuff. And then Disney was like back and forth about it. They didn't do it because they decided to do this version instead.
That might have been fun.
It might have been fun, but instead we go with the
You know
original,
why,
but not the
Brian?
original.
It would have been a different thing. So it would have been
different.
fun and it would have been acceptable. But like when you're trying to market it as the same thing and you're giving me something, it's like you're like, this is Gucci, but really you're giving me Guess. I'm like, I know the difference. It's not the same. You know what I mean?
I
Like,
would
stop.
argue though. I would argue sometimes, not sticking true to the same thing can be good, and sometimes it can't. Like we have a new Transformers coming, and we're changing the voice cast. And I'm like, why are we doing that? For Transformers 1, which is coming out. Of course, it's the very first animated Transformers movie since the 80s. So it's been a long time, and they want this to be right. We're going back to Cybertron, everybody. We've talked about this before in here, but we didn't have a voice cast until now. Well, now we have the cast, and Chris Hemsworth is playing Optimus Prime, and I'm like, I love Chris Hemsworth. I love Thor, guys. I love him. I think he's great. But we have Peter Cullen. He's been playing Optimus Prime since the 80s in the live-action ones. Why is he not doing this? But he's not. Also, Scarlett Johansson's coming in. Keegan-Michael Key, John Hamm, Lawrence Fishburne, and they're playing Alita. They're playing Bumblebee, Sentinel Prime, and Alpha Trion. So those characters are coming in. And then even Megatron is like, I'm like, I don't know what they're doing. Sabrina, who's playing Megatron again? Oh, she walked away on me. But even Megatron, like, I'm just like, what is happening, everybody? Like, why we gotta change it? I like a lot of the voice casting; they're great, but my biggest problem is Optimus Prime. Like, why do we not use these actors? They're already working in the movies. Why they're not working here? But that's what the studio's doing. They're changing up. This was supposed to come out in July. Now it's pushed to September 13th, 2024. So we have to wait a little bit of time. It's coming soon though. But Transformers, new voice cast. And I'm kind of back and forth about it, Chris. I'm back and forth about it. I'm not sold on Chris Hemsworth as Optimus Prime. I'm not. Like, I hear that voice, I'm like, Prime. You know, he has that voice. And I know that Chris Hemsworth's going to be Chris Hemsworth, but I don't know. Are you a big fan of Transformers at all, Chris? And does this even matter to you? Are you like, Brian, shut the fuck up?
A little bit. No. So I'm
Stop geeking out, Brian.
Yeah, no, so I'll be honest, I'm not a huge Transformers fan. When I was little, though, and this is what I'm thinking, all right? Just hear me out. This could be a different opinion, but a lot of things are coming back nowadays, right? So when I was a kid, I was really into baseball cards. And for the last, 20 years, baseball cards died down. And now that I have a son, baseball cards are actually becoming more popular. So I'm taking my son to go out and buy baseball cards, and baseball cards are hugely popular. People are trading them, and they're making tons of money. So the point that I'm getting at is this is the first animated film since the 80s, I think, right?
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that they're trying to bring people back, maybe that, like me, when I loved Transformers in the 80s, that's what I remember as a kid, that maybe I'll take my son to go watch it, or I'll take my daughter to go watch it and show them what I used to watch. As far as the voice actors, it'd be cool if they were the same. I feel like Liam Hemsworth sometimes is the same in all his movies, just, I don't know, just my opinion, doesn't really have much of a range. But, I think they're maybe trying to bring something back from the 80s and maybe get this new crowd going.
Yeah, I mean, it's a whole new thing. It's completely different from what they're doing in the theatrical world, too. So maybe they want to be separate from that. I don't know. That could be what it is. And Hemsworth, I like him a lot, but it's like that 80s geek kid in me. I'm like, I want Optimus. I want it to sound like Optimus, and it's not going to be. This is different. But then again, it's animated, Chris, and I'm used to Optimus sounding like Peter Cullen, man. I shouldn't be so upset. Sabrina, what do you think about this? Do you think it's fine to have Hemsworth come in? Thor Prime, we'll call him Thor Prime. Is it cool to have Thor Prime, or do you think that we should, keep Peter Cullen and keep the OG? And also, who plays Megatron again? I can't remember. I was going blank on that in this. He was from Bullet Train. People? Yeah, Bullet Train. He was in.
Tyree Henry.
Yes,
Michael Tyree Henry.
He's great too.
Brian Tyree Henry. Brian.
He's great too. I like him. Good name. Good fucking name. I like him too. But I mean, I'm still like, I'm too stuck in my past, I guess. But what do you think about this, Sabrina? What are your thoughts breaking into this new voice cast?
I first of all, I think you're being a little hard on Thor. I think that you don't know maybe he's going to do an amazing Optimus Prime. I mean, it's not like Peter Cullen's the only person who can make his voice sound like that way-ish. I mean, he's the only person who has the exact same Optimus Prime voice forever. Perfect picture. Thank you. Oh, hey, our hair is the same almost. So maybe he's going to do a great job. And I personally, Peter Cullen's alive and he's Optimus Prime. Like, I don't know why you would recast that part. Like, it just seems weird. But the other side of that is that this is a prequel to like what all the stuff that we're seeing now. So maybe they want a younger Optimus Prime voice. And maybe that's why they're going with the Hemsworth fellow. One of the three Hemsworths. But I don't know, it has a really good powerhouse cast. Like there's a lot of really good players. And Steven Spielberg is one of the producers. Like I really I wouldn't. I'm not.
Big.
This doesn't really matter that much to me. If I was more emotionally invested, I'm sure I'd have a bigger opinion. But I'm kind of a wait and see on this. Like I think
This just
it could
screams
has
Buzz Lightyear to
potential to
me.
be real. Has
It
the
screams
potential to
Buzz
be really
Lightyear to me.
good. I'm just saying.
That's all it
People
screams.
loved
Lightyear.
that. People loved it.
No,
Yeah.
it didn't do well at all. It was a fail
I
for
didn't love
Disney.
it, but people loved
It was a fail. It did. I mean, it didn't make big bucks at all. It wasn't. It didn't do well.
Well, it was
That's
only
a-
on streaming, wasn't it?
No, it went to theaters.
Oh, it did.
Yeah.
Wasn't it the one with Chris Evans?
They're probably going to add a little like robotic voice to him, right? It's not going to be the real Thor. It's going to be like maybe a little robotic thing to it. I agree with
Maybe.
Sabrina. I think it'll be cool. I'm not a major Transformers fan. Like I don't need to have all the same actors. I mean, we're talking about it now. I think people are talking about it, and that's what they want.
It's
is
buzzy
people-
right now.
So they're just getting a new cast, and I think it'll be kind of refreshing to get some new people in there.
Yeah, I'm so torn. But something else that people are talking about everywhere right now, they're talking all over the internet, is about Danny Masterson. That's right, because the verdict came out, everybody. The verdict came out for Danny Masterson, and he's found guilty. He's been found guilty on 2 counts of forcible rape. That's hard to say, even. Forcible rape from the Jane Does, Jen B, and N. Trout. And the 47-year-old is going to be facing up to 30 years behind bars on these 2 counts. Now, of course, there was up for 3 counts of rape, but the one, they went back and forth about it, back and forth. They had, after 5 votes, they were like, well, it's helplessly deadlocked. That's what they were saying. And they just couldn't get it to work out. I mean, 8 guilty and 4 not guilty. That's what it was the last count. So they couldn't balance it out, so they pled it, so they did not guilty for that. Other 2, he's guilty. And he's waiting for all of his charges to go through. And during that time, the judge was like, he's a flight risk, so we won't allow the ankle bracelet to happen. We're not going to let him be home arrest. We're taking him, we're cuffing him, we're sending him to jail right now. Which, he's got a lot of money. Maybe he would be a flight risk. Apparently, he was just dumbfounded when he was staring at everybody because they already had 1 trial. It didn't go through. They had a mistrial. They couldn't come up with a conclusion. And now they came up with the conclusion, and it could be up to 30 years. That's insane. He was facing 45 before. I mean, 15 to life for each charge. It's just wild to me. You go from like being this big person from that 70s show, big part of our childhood. Mine too. I remember watching this show, and it's like, and then he was on that ranch, and then as soon as the allegations came out, they fired him from the ranch, and everyone parted ways from him. And this trial started April 24th, and now it's done May 12th, and it took him a little bit over a week, and they came up with this. So he's got to be just freaking out a little bit. But also, like, it sounds like he's fucking guilty. That's what it sounds to me. I mean, he is guilty, but it sounds like he's guilty. So, of course, we talked about Amber Heard on this before. Like, you don't know. But, like, to me, this sounds like this man did some bad things. They're bringing in Scientology into here. And they were saying that these girls said they couldn't say anything because of Scientology. And if they did, it would be against the church. And so they didn't say anything, which Sabrina will dive into some more, too. But the official hearing is happening June 4th. And then they're going to actually have it in August. Will be a sentencing forever where they're going to find out what happens. And they'll probably appeal because that's what happens. And there's a switch side here. So this happened. And it's crazy that this happened at the same time. But at the same time, Armie Hammer, who was also up for rape and sexual allegations, all of his charges were dropped. It's crazy. It's like the same time. They dropped them all due to the complexity of the relationship and the inability to prove that it was non-consensual. Of course, he's talking about, again, forceful sexual conduct with somebody that he's been dating, though, which is what the third person was, too, in the Danny Masterson case. It was a girlfriend. So in fact, there was a girlfriend. They were going back and forth. It's going on for years. So like, we can't really figure this out if this is actual rape or not. So they threw it out. The DA said we can't do anything. So Armie Hammer walks away, and Danny Masterson's going to jail. But Armie Hammer was saying like, hey, I took these girls, it was great. We went, traveled, we had sex, we had drugs, big emotions flying around the world. Then we went home, I dropped them off, and then I found myself a new girl, and the girl didn't like that. So, hey, now they're going to say I'm raping them? I mean, well, I don't know if that's all it was, because they had that whole, the House of Hammer, where people were saying that he's up to some really crazy sex stuff that girls maybe weren't up to. I don't know. But this is some touchy stuff. It is in Hollywood. This stuff happens in real life, and it happens to celebrities. When it happens to celebrities, of course, is bigger, it's blown up more because they're in our mind, they're in the media, and they've been in our TV, our movie theater, So it's a big deal for people. And these 2 men have had these allegations for years, and now one's gone and one's free. But will Armie Hammer actually be fine? That's the thing. Sabrina, what do you think about this? Do you feel this is validated, that Danny Masterson's going away, and that Armie Hammer is free to walk the streets?
First, not to be off topic here, but the comments are not working on our live stream thing. But I keep clicking over to YouTube to make sure that it's working because we were having some issues. And so, Ty, hi, and I'm seeing your comments. I just can't post them. And also, BSP, whoever you are, new friend, I cannot post your comments either. So I'm sorry, but I'm seeing what you're saying, and it's hard for me to work it in without putting it up on the screen so that other people can react to it. So I apologize for that, and thank you guys for watching. Now back to this very serious topic at hand, which is extremely disturbing. I mean, I'm 100% fine with Hyde from That 70s Show going away for 30 years for doing the things that he was doing. It's appalling. And like, I'm really surprised that the first jury was hung, like, honestly, because this is the second time that they're trying the case, you know? But everything that I've read about it seems
it's a lot, Sabrina.
Very,
it's a lot.
It seems
it's a fucking lot.
Very, very fucking clear. But the whole Scientology aspect of it is really fucked up. And like, Leah Remini was, at both trials and like, supporting the victims because she was, a product of the Church of Scientology. And like one of the hugest is not a word. One of the biggest things that they teach, ginormous, if you will, is that anything bad that happens to you is your fault. It's 100% your fault. Like everything in your life is controlled by you. It's the decisions you make. It's the things that you do. So everything is your fault. Like if you were walking down the street and a pigeon got hit by a plane and wound up landing on your head and snapped your neck, that's your fault because you chose to walk down the street on that day at that time. So obviously, if you chose to go to Danny Masterson's house and
in the Hollywood
take
Hills.
a drink from him, then you apparently
in a
it's
hot
your
tub.
fault that you got raped. You know what I mean? Like it's just a weird fucking philosophy, and like I could see that like maybe being alluring in some way, like as like I'm in control of my life, but at the same time, it's also pretty fucked up. Like if you're in this religion though, and you're believing all these things that these people are telling you, I don't know how it works there. If there's like a priest of some sort, or like you go to classes, like I'm not really sure what it entails, but like if the people that you entrust are telling you that everything in your life is your fault, like then how are you going to think that being raped is not your fault? Like you're probably like, this is
very true.
I chose to go there. I shouldn't have gone there. I shouldn't have done that, which is 100% what people think anyway when they're assaulted. I shouldn't have made those decisions, but it's not your fucking fault. That's ridiculous. It's absurd. So it's super unfortunate that is like one of their main teachings. And Leah Remini has been saying this for years, like way before this case has even come up. Like when she started speaking out against them, that was like one of her big gripes. So I feel like it's a liability for them to say otherwise. And I think part of it is covering their ass, because they don't want to be lumped into all this bullshit. They don't want to have their name mentioned in court like it just was. But then the one girl, I know one, maybe both of them, but one girl specifically went to the church and said this happened, and they forbade her from going to the police.
Nuts.
So, I mean, I'm actually glad that they came back with a guilty verdict. I feel a little bit bad for his wife, who obviously doesn't think he's a raper, which clearly he is, because she obviously had a breakdown in the courtroom. But other than that, good fucking riddance, buddy. The other Armie Hammer thing, I don't know. I don't really know. Like he probably had some weird sex habits, and people at the time thought it was fine. But then when he broke up with them, they were like, you know what, it really wasn't cool when you did that to me, and I just was doing it because I was, trying to be good with you. I don't know. That's a gray area, and so if there's not enough evidence, then they should absolutely not, bring him to trial for something like that. And also, there was a lot of chatter on a social media site, like whatever it was, Instagram or wherever this whole thing like broke. But like the only girl who actually came forward to try to press charges on him was that one girl. And there was not enough evidence. And so they dismissed it. And that's, I think, the right thing to do in any case. Who
was a long-term girlfriend legally, too. And that was the whole thing, Effie,
that doesn't make it okay. I'm just saying, if there's not enough evidence, there's not enough evidence.
But that's what they were saying, is a long-term girlfriend. So that's why they were like, it was so back and forth. It was like 4 years or something, the relationship. But it's a lot, Chris. This is a heavy topic, man. It's a heavy topic for Kruse Control. But what are your thoughts, I mean, about this whole situation? Do you think it's bad, right? All of it's bad. All of it's shit, regardless. Like, I feel bad for everybody across the board. But if he's doing this, putting girls in hot tubs, drugging their drinks, and then waking up in bed being raped by him, that's fucking crazy, But Hollywood, man, do you think that's a normal thing that happens here?
So like we said, it does happen to everyone in the world, right? Not just Hollywood. It happens to everyday people all the time, and it just gets, swept under the rug because it's not Hollywood. It's not in the news. I do think it happens more in Hollywood, though. I think that, people are getting money for some, there's crazy parties. There's stuff that you just don't hear about in the news. And for some reason, these actors feel like they have more control. They have more money. They feel like, you go to set and you get everything done for you, right? Like they're doing your hair, your makeup. They're constantly taking care of you. And it's too bad because I think these cases happened in 2001 to 2004. So that's a long time for these girls to have to think about that. And, like you said, they reported it. The Church of Scientology was trying to sweep it under the rug and trying to forget about it. I think this happens all the time with producers, directors, people from, top networks, and they're trying to always sweep it under the rug. And hopefully it comes to the light now that, this is happening. But, Danny Masterson, it was just, the girls were saying he was drugging them. Then he would take them to the hot tub, and then they would wake up and he was having sex with them. He was having his way with them while they were, basically passed out. And they all had the same stories. So with him, I wasn't there, but you just have to say, like, the evidence is pretty compelling for, against him. And you know what? If the jury had their way and they said he's guilty, I think that, that's good. He should go to jail for that.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, Chris, right? If that's what they're saying, if that's real, like, I don't think that someone like that should be walking around, especially a celebrity like that, But they made that decision. And what about Armie Hammer? Do you think Armie Hammer, Chris? Do you think that there's anything there?
Listen, I don't know much about that case, but and like you said, it was his girlfriend, I think, right? A long-term girlfriend.
Yeah. And he was saying they're traveling the world and shit, and he was like, "That's all these girls."
They were on and off for 4 years. That is a long time.
I'm sure there was some weird stuff going on in that relationship, and some stuff, kinky stuff you don't want to really talk about. But I think he got off, and I think hopefully the court system, got the right decision there.
Yeah, that's the hope, at the end of the day. That's really the hope that it's all good. And it just seems really fucking crazy. Even the Danny Masterson stuff about how he had a gun in his nightstand and he's pulling it on girls.
He was pulling it at girls, right? Saying you better do this or else I'm going to shoot you. Like
the one girl. The one girl.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but he's holding a gun up to her saying you better do this. Like, that's just insane.
I think he put the gun out because somebody came up the stairs or something to check on her because there was other people at the house. This particular time, I don't know if it's always was that case, what I mean? But it was like a social thing. There were other people there. He drugged her apparently, or she had, one drink and then was shit-faced. And I think he threw her in the hot tub and she threw up. And so he took her out of the hot tub. And he's like, I'm going to take her up to the shower, like as his excuse. And I believe that I read there was so many, like, the stories between the different girls. I if I'm incorrect, I'm sorry, but I believe it was that same girl. He put her in the shower, and then when she woke up and he was on top of her, then he heard somebody coming upstairs, and he took the gun out, basically like, shut the fuck up, don't say a fucking word.
Yes,
and then basically until the person passed or whatever or left, or I something to that effect, which is pretty fucked.
Yeah.
Well,
this is what's
these social scenes in Hollywood are just, this is just a horrible case, right? But there's so many cases that you don't hear about where people come to, I have a friend that would sit on the bottom of a car or a limousine, and they'd ride into parties so the paparazzi and other people can see them. So the cars looked empty, but they would hire people to come to these parties and, drugs and sex and alcohol and, boys and girls and
they're hiding in the car, Chris. They're hiding in the car.
So they'd be hiding on the bottom of the car floor. So if there was paparazzi or anyone else in front of their house, you couldn't see them through the windows because they'd be laying flat on the floor. And then they'd go to these parties and have crazy parties. And it's insane what goes on that no one hears about.
That's wild. Yeah, that's the thing. You just don't. I mean, Hollywood is a crazy town. This is just a lot, though. People get money and fame and rich and all that, and they can do whatever they can do, and it's just very unfortunate. I've heard rumors of crazy shit happening at parties through the years that actors talk about, but it's all hearsay, all that shit. But I'm just like, if this man did all this shit, it's good that he's going away, honestly. And I feel bad for these women. I feel bad for anybody that ever feels like they've been abused and taken advantage in a situation like this. But you know what I don't feel bad is for Harry and Meghan, who say they've been taken advantage of, because I don't think that's fucking true. Honestly, if you ask me. But Harry and Meghan, everybody, we gotta talk about them. We gotta talk about them. Back in the news for a good reason. They say they're done. They say they're done. They said the books are out, the Netflix special's out, we got everything out there, you know our story, we're done talking about our family. They said that's it, that period of life is over, and there is nothing left to say. I'm going to call shenanigans and lying, and that's not true because more shit will come up. But that's what they're saying. So Harry's like, we're done. Meghan's like, we're done. We're going to retire to Montesego, wherever the hell they are, in our big-ass mansion with our 3-ass kids or 2 kids, and we're not going to be talking about our royal family anymore. But he still wants protection when he goes to the UK. So there's that whole thing that's been in the news, too, that Harry put in for, like, security. Well, in your royal family, you get security through the UK government because they protect the royals. Well, now he's not a royal, he doesn't get security. And he said, well, can I still pay for my security? Can I pay the police and make this happen? And they said, no. And then he actually fought them. And this was by the RAVIC. They're called the RAVIC. They're committee that decides on public protection for royals. That's who said no. And they said they feared that if this happens, it would set a precedent for all celebrities that come to the UK to ask for this protection. And then the policemen and the policewomen and the police force become bodyguards. Like, they're not bodyguards, they're here to serve and protect the royal family and our citizens, not celebrities. And that's what you are, you're a celebrity now. So they denied it, he fought it, they lost, it's done, he's not getting that. And then there was this whole thing in the Daily Mail, like, talking about that too, and now he's suing them for defamation because he said they said bad things about him and his wife. All right, so if that's in the news and you're saying you're done with the news, you're clearly not done with the news. I'm just saying, they're not going away. That's all I'm saying. Sabrina, they're not going away, are they? You don't believe this. You don't believe this shit, right? You want to keep talking about Harry and Meghan, don't you?
I mean, I don't want to. I don't want to talk about them ever because they're so annoying. But yeah, I mean, there's no way that they're not gonna do this. It's literally the most ridiculous thing in the world. Like, that has been their mission since they supposedly left the royal family for their privacy. All they have done is invite scrutiny and invite publicity and, make a spectacle of their lives. Like, that's all they've done. Oh, it's so hard. Please stop. It's super offensive. And for you to say that you're not going to say anything else about it is even more offensive. Like, we're not stupid. We're well aware of what you're doing, what you've been doing, how you've been making money since you're not on the payroll of the royal family anymore. Like, we are aware. So it's like, just like that car chase, like, you think people are dumb, and guess what? They said all this dumb shit that wasn't true, and everyone went apeshit on them because it's obviously fucking ridiculous. So now they're just saying this so that they stay relevant. They stay in the news. They're like, oh, we're not going to do this thing. We're not going to talk about it anymore because no one believed our dumb story. Yeah, we didn't believe your dumb story because it's not true. And now you're just going to say something that'll take away the news cycle of the bullshit that you just tried to throw upon us, like, very, very, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago?
Yeah,
like,
the car chase.
It's absurd. But sources
2 hour
say
car chase.
that he's trying to, in New York City, bitch, please. Like, ridiculous. But sources say that he's actually trying to shop a documentary about Princess Diana, his mother. So, like, this is like bullshit to the nth power. Like, they're nowhere near done capitalizing on this bullshit. 100%, full stop, final answer.
But this caused problems, though, Sabrina. This caused problems, This car chase just caused problems in their life. So they have to stop.
For them, it didn't go the way they wanted.
You know why they're done? Is because we are all done, too. I think people are just tired of all the crap. Like, we're done. Like, enough is enough. Whoever their PR person is or what's going on is just,
It's your boy. Is it your boy?
It's not my boy.
Shiraz.
I wish it was.
Yeah. They need to...
The PR...
They need to hire
the PR person has they have a really hard job to do trying to keep this shit in line.
Listen, this high-speed car chase is just like, that was in New York City. Come on. Like, that is just obviously fake, and they just want more attention. I don't think they should have police or an escort in the, as part of the royal family, because they're not part of the royal family. And if they want a security guard, then they can go hire their own private security guard with their own money. They're not part of the royal family. They don't want any part of it. I think, honestly, people are just so tired of their crap, all these stories, and it's not even good stories, right?
They're getting worse.
Their show I think, is tanking. Their books aren't doing well. So that's why they're done, is because they're not doing well.
Her podcast was a shit show.
It was a shit show.
Podcast went down.
I got some friends actually that's interesting that live in LA, and they're going out to the night scene, and they see her out a lot at the clubs. Actually, the last couple of weeks.
Oh, really?
Without him. And she's hanging out with all these other people, like trying to get all friendly and fresh with different types of celebrities. And so I just thought that was interesting. She's going out more often without him lately. So I don't know what's going on there.
That is a fun insider tidbit.
Yes, it is.
You know what
Kruse Control show.
I call that? You know what I call that, Chris? I call that
breaking
news. I had to play the graphic again. That's all I had to do. But yeah, for me, I'm like, these two.
Al Pacino's back.
He popped in for a second.
He popped in.
Hoo-ha! Al was like, that's some breaking news, is what he said. That's what he said. God, why? Why are we still talking about them? Because people want to hear. And it's like, it's very unfortunate. They're not going away. There's no way they're going away. And you know what happens? Money runs up eventually, right? Eventually money goes away, and they don't have that royal salary, so they can't keep up with their royal teeth and their royal way. So eventually they're going to have to get more money. So by making more money, they got to do something else. Like, Sabrina was saying, and you're saying, even her going out, Chris, that could be, like we were talking about last time you were on, a PR stunt to create buzz. So people are asking and talking like we are about how they're not together. Right?
That's very true. I mean, maybe that's not real. Maybe they are together and she's just trying to do a whole PR stunt, right? You never know nowadays in Hollywood.
Because she needs to have attention.
She's trying to get cast in another B TV show on a cable network, and he's working on that Princess Diana documentary. So they're working. They're working.
Yeah, they really are. But you know what's not a PR stunt? What happened to Benedict Cumberbatch? And a lot of people probably don't know about this because it's been pretty quiet, and actually the court system kept it quiet, but someone tried to break into his house and stab him with a knife. That happened, everybody. A chef, and they don't even know why. Like, again, the chef didn't say, like, he knew him. Benedict Cumberbatch didn't say that he knew him, but he was at home with his wife and his 3 children when this incident happened. And apparently they were all freaked the fuck out, which I get. I get being freaked out, but this former hotel chef pleaded guilty to this. He broke into the London home of Benedict Cumberbatch with a knife, swinging rage, and then he left them terrified. This happened. His guy's name is Jack Bissell. He's 35. And what happened? Jack fucking Bissell, man. Jack Bissell in the house.
Heir to the Bissell cleaner fortune?
Maybe not anymore. But Jack Bissell had a knife, and I guess he broke in and he spit on his Ring camera and he slashed the door and he started screaming like, I know you're here. I know you moved here. I hope it burns down. He was shouting at the house, trying to break in. And then they arrested him, of course. Well, he fled. He fucking fled, apparently. He fled, and then the cops found him based off his saliva that he spit on the fucking camera. That's how they found him. They did a DNA test, they swabbed that shit, and they found Bissell because he's the head of the Bissell Empire. We don't know if he really is. He probably is not. But they found Bissell, Jack Bissell, Jack be quick, Jack not get away from the candlestick. I don't know. So he got sentenced. It was so quiet for a long time. He's already been sentenced on May 10th. And Jack Bissell got a $310 charge. And they imposed a 3-year restraint against him. Like, it makes sense, That's what should happen. Restraining order. That's what should happen. And it's kind of nuts to me how this even happened. Like, and it was so quiet. Like, it was super quiet, Chris. I didn't hear this. I mean, May 10th? Nothing came out in the news. Nothing happened. And then the Daily Mail, actually, from the UK, they found out about it, and they had to, issue, a warrant to the court and be like, you have to give us this story. And then they released it. But it's nuts.
Listen, like you said, it's not a publicity stunt. That happens all the time in Hollywood, especially with the Kardashians, right? They're known for doing all these crazy stunts and having powder thrown on them. Benedict Cumberbatch, this is why I think this is totally legit. He doesn't like to be in the limelight. I mean, he's an A-list actor. He's in some of the top movies of all time, but he's not going to go out there for extra press and attention. It was also hidden for so long, right? So he was trying to talk to the police, get everything settled, and that's why it's finally coming out now, because they probably had to keep quiet about it. He's a cool guy, down-to-earth, family guy, doesn't really like to go out too much, and he doesn't want his name in the news any more than it has to be. And what's crazy is I thought it was a private chef. Maybe he worked for him in the past.
It
But
could have
it's
been.
no connection as of now whatsoever. Which
Or
is
they go to high school together. You know what I mean? I mean, it could be something that they're just being very quiet about.
maybe it's one of those things where back in elementary school, Benedict said something mean about his dog or something, and he's like, "You're on my list now," and I'm gonna, But
I
no,
know you moved here. You're finally in my town. I'm gonna get your ass.
they had no connection whatsoever. This guy, Bissell,
Bissell. Yeah, fucking Jack Bissell.
only has
Big
one.
Bissell.
Big
Bissell.
only has one. He's only been in trouble with the law once, and he got a little crazy at a protest. So it's not like he's a known.
In his undies, he was in his underoos.
Was he in his undies? There you go.
And you can see Jack Bissell next to Chris Fabregas right now carrying
Oh
some
my,
coffee.
he is definitely not the heir to a steam cleaning fortune, that's for sure.
This way.
That way, yeah.
Yeah,
it's
a whole crazy thing. I feel bad for his family. I feel bad for his kids. I mean, that's pretty scary. And it's crazy. They caught him because of the saliva, right?
The saliva.
Yeah.
Don't spit on someone's ring camera. Don't do it. They'll catch you.
It wasn't your face on the ring camera. That's not what caught him. It was the spit on the ring
It
camera.
was a spit. They gonna find you. They gonna find you.
Yeah.
In the words of what's his name, Sabrina?
Antoine Dotson.
Antoine Johnson.
No,
So-
Dotson.
Dotson. I was way off.
Thank you.
Way off.
Antoine Dotson.
Antoine Dotson.
Run and
Sabrina,
tell that.
what do you think about this? Do you think that this is fucked up, right? I mean, like at your home, this happens to celebrities, so unfortunately, this is a real thing. They tried to hide it. Isn't it crazy?
I would like to know what poor Benedict Cumberbatch did to upset this person so much. I mean, he's such like a mild-mannered, like nice. I mean, I guess I don't know him personally, but like he's not like exactly like Chris says. He's not like one of those celebrities that is like trying to be in the news like all the time. Like he's very. I like when I read this, I'm like, I didn't even know he was married or had 3 children. Like, how do you keep that under wraps? You know what I mean? Like, he's a very private person, and I don't think that that there's any way that this is a publicity stunt, first off. Secondly, like that's of course super scary, especially that it was targeted. And he also told some like dude, oh my God, hold on one second. Sorry, my dog is going crazy. Speaking of dogs,
This is a picture of him being arrested, actually.
Oh.
yeah, well, again, less clothes than he needs to have on. Like, why are we always half naked, sir? I think it's a little alarming the fact that he told the store clerk that he was going to burn this man's house down, went there and spit all over the security camera, and then was finally arrested after being identified through DNA, but then only received a $310 fine. I've gotten more for riding in a carpool lane without a person. Like, are you fucking kidding?
Yeah.
Like, if you want to go on the 405 in the carpool lane, get ready for a $475 fine. Not $310 for threatening to burn down someone's house and spitting on their Ring camera. What a picture, Brian. Oh my
And
God.
this is how he feels about it.
Yeah, that's Jack right there, huh?
That's Benedict. That's how Benedict feels.
Cumberbatch.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He was looking at the video and he was like, who is this psychopath at my door?
Oh my gosh.
That's how he feels about the whole situation. He's like, why is this crazy person? Why is that head of Bissell breaking into my house trying to stab me with a knife?
I would
He's not that of
honestly
Bissell again.
be very upset about it.
Bissell's not brought to you by or sponsoring Kruse Control.
No,
but
it's just funny.
Yeah,
a $310 fine is weird. Like, what if he comes back to their house? He knows where they live now, obviously, and like that's not too much of a deterrent. I mean, maybe I don't know. I don't know.
And he was telling people too. I guess when he was getting like the knife and stuff, he told. Yeah, he was telling the store clerk he was gonna go after Benedict and burn his house down and shit.
The best is they were like, it's a fish knife, it's a boning knife he showed up there with, which I thought was hilarious. I'm like, do we need to be specific about what type of knife it was? They're like, well, he's a chef, so yes.
Did Benedict eat at his restaurant, at this hotel restaurant, and say his food was rubbish or something? And this was guy held this thing, or was it a high school thing? Like we were talking about Chris.
He doesn't strike me as like a yelper. I don't think he went home and he was like, the food at such and such was so awful. I could barely clean it out of my teeth. Like it just.
It'd be fucking hilarious to read something like that. A Yelp review by Benedict Cumberbatch. I want to hear that right now. I want to read it.
It would be Doctor Strange. He wouldn't really use his real name. I mean, come on.
He's doing this shit,
Unfortunately, there's so many, positive things about being a celebrity, right? There's money, you can do good for the community, especially Benedict is such a great guy. He's a cool guy. And unfortunately, that's one of the downfalls with being a celebrity is sometimes you get these crazy stalkers. I know there was a girl on, I think she was on the Disney Channel, and there was someone living in her attic up in the ceiling in
Oh
her
yeah,
mansion. And the only reason she knew is because it was Halloween.
that was Zendaya.
That was Zendaya, right?
Yeah.
So someone was living in the ceiling. The only reason she knew is because all her Halloween candy that she had out on the table was always gone. And she's like, "Hey, did you eat the candy? Did you eat the candy?" "No, I haven't been eating candy." And all of a sudden, they saw these wrappers, and they followed it up to the crawl space in the attic, and there was someone living up there.
Stop it! They left a trail of candy.
They were munching on the
Candy wrappers.
the little Twix. They left a little breadcrumb trail up to the
little
ceiling.
Twix.
Yep. But no,
That's nuts.
the only reason they found out that there was someone up there is because the Halloween candy was going missing. So
Wow.
pretty crazy.
That's insane.
That's fucking nuts. These stalkers can be crazy and stuff like that can happen to celebrities. So you have to be careful. It's a great profession and a lot of people want to do it, but there is a trade-off and some crazy stuff can happen like that. So you just got to be careful. But speaking of Zendaya, that leads me to our featured story of the night.
Did you guys plan that?
All right, everybody, for our featured story, I want to dive into something a little less, something a little bit serious, a little bit more fun. I want to talk about Spider-Man for a second. So as we know, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Do a flip, Spider-Man.
Gotta do a flip, Spider-Man. Across the Spider-Verse, I should say. The sequel to Into the Spider-Verse is coming out right now. It's out, everybody. You can go watch it right now after the show. And you can watch this whole weekend. It's coming out. Of course, Miles Morales is getting his sequel to his 3 movies. The third one's coming out again down the line. But this is out, and everyone's going nuts about it. There's crossover. There's rumors. Been rumors that Tom Holland's going to be in it. There's rumors that Andrew Garfield's going to be in it. That everyone's back. Tobey Maguire. But we don't really know yet. But at the world premiere of this, Amy Pascal came out with Kevin Feige, and they started talking on the red carpet. And they said, hey, by the way, we're doing more Spider-Man, of course. We're going to do Spider-Man 4. That's happening. So Spider-Man 4 with Tom Holland, Zendaya, that's happening. It's just a matter of when we get pen to paper. But of course, as you know, there's a writer's strike. So we had to stop all those plans until the WGA gets a strike, figured out, and they have a deal. And then we're going to start writing again. But Tom Holland's coming back. Zendaya's coming back. We're going to the street now. It's not going to be so out there, they're saying this time. It's not going to be crazy. It's going to be more of a grounded story. And it's going to be street-level Spider-Man fighting somebody. We don't really know yet, but that's happening. And also, I'm piggybacking off of Across the Spider-Verse. Miles Morales, everybody, is getting his very much needed, I should say, live-action film. So after the next Spider-Verse is coming out, again, we have Into the Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse, and the third one's going to be called Beyond the Spider-Verse. It's a lot to say out loud. After Beyond the Spider-Verse, we're getting a live-action Miles Morales. Now, it probably will not be Shamik Moore because, again, he's like 28 years old. And it could be him. It could be him, but they might want somebody younger like Tom Holland when he started. But it could be him. Of course, Miles Morales is usually a teenager, and maybe he can play it. But he looks a little bit old for me. But so they're going to do that. And on top of that, we're getting a Spider-Woman movie. And she might be coming sooner than you think. That's what Amy Pascal said. Now, they have been shooting the Madam Web series. If anybody knows online, Madam Web is, of course, the person that's like an intergalactic being that holds the universe together. She's like in a wheelchair, and they're doing that right now. But apparently there's a casting for that right now, and they've actually already shot. And the actress is called Sydney Sweeney. So Sydney Sweeney from White Lotus, season 1.
Wow, really?
White Lotus. You know her, Sabrina? She was in season 1 of White Lotus. She played...
she's also in the show with Zendaya, the Euphoria.
Yeah, Handmaid's Tale, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood she was in. Well, she was cast in Madam Web as a character called Julia Carpenter. Now, Julia Carpenter, if you get a little geeky, a little nerdy on us here, Julia Carpenter was the second Spider-Woman in the comic books. And her whole thing was she received powers when she was part of an experiment, and the experiment changed her. It was called the Athletic Study, and it was like spider venom with exotic plant extracts, and it gave her the powers of Spider-Man. And it also changed, and she got telepathic, and she had precognition, and astral projection, and powers like beyond blindness, I guess. I don't even know what that means, but she had all these superpowers. She's big, which is a big thing to me. She's big in the actual, in the big series coming out, the, what's it called? Not Infinity War, Secret Wars, big in Secret Wars, which is coming out too. So maybe it's a way of introducing to her, give her own movie, and then bring her into Secret Wars with Marvel. Of course, we're branching all these crazy geeky universes together. So she's already cast. So that's probably our Wonder Woman, our Spider Woman. It's a lot of spider news. It's Spidey tingling, you know. Well, that's a lot of tingle action. I feel a tingle. I feel that Peter tingle, you know. I feel it right now, and it could be great. And of course, you know, you can go see the new one right now. But Miles Morales, everybody, you know, hey, spider tingle, tingly, webby. I don't know, web. But so we're getting a lot of Spider-Man action coming. Pew 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 pew. Could be good. Sabrina, what do you think about this? Are you excited about any of these projects? Do you think that Miles Morales should have his own movie? And what do you think about Spider-Woman? Huh? Is that good? She's not sure. We can't hear you, Sabrina.
Oh, we lost
Sabrina. I think you're muted right now, Sabrina.
Uh-oh.
So we're going to go over to Chris for a second. Well, Sabrina works out her stuff right now. What's going on, Sabrina? But Chris, I don't know if you're a big Spider-Man fan. Of course, you have kids, so they probably saw the very first Into the Spider-Verse. What do you think about taking an IP like this and expanding it too much? Is it too much to do this, or do you think this makes sense with all the Marvel stuff?
You know what? I think it makes sense right now. I haven't seen too many of the Spider-Man movies recently, and I'll be honest. I feel like I'm busy. I feel like I'm crazy busy as a dad and a coach,
and a celebrity photographer,
right? But what I do notice is I pay attention to what my kids like, and my son Hudson loves Miles Morales. He's 8 years old. He has T-shirts. He was dressed up for Halloween, you know, with that darker Spider-Man, the black shirt with the red spider. Absolutely loves it, watches the cartoons all the time. And I think it's just based off him. It seems like they're going the right direction because it's super popular. I know all the kids at school have Spider-Man shirts, and they definitely talk about it a lot.
Yeah, and people love Miles Morales. Like, Miles Morales has been huge, you know? And the fact that he didn't get his first live action until now, it's crazy to me because he's a big comic book hero. And you're back, yes, bring your back. A big comic book character, and the fact that the last one, the Into the Spider-Verse, did so well. Like you're saying, kids were wearing the suits, getting the backpacks. Like, it's huge. So maybe they wanted to test the waters in animation form, and now we're able to branch out into that universe and make more money. Yeah.
I think it'll be cool, and I know our family will definitely be there probably to check it out because it's something that they love. So we'll definitely check it out.
You got to go see the new one too. The Across the Spider-Verse just came out. I can't wait to see it. I'll go see it this weekend. It'll be fun. The animation style is amazing. It really is. But yeah, these are big moves for Marvel and Sony. Big moves for Sony. Of course, Amy Pascal's been running that shit since Spider-Man 1 with Tobey Maguire. So I mean, she should know what's going on, right? So right, Sabrina, what do you think? Are you excited about these new projects coming from Sony / Marvel? Or are you like, you're doing too much Spider for me and my tingle sensation's not working out too well?
I really enjoy the animated version of this character. I enjoy. I think Haley Stanfield plays Gwen.
She's so good.
Into the Spider-Verse. I love her. And if you're gonna make a Spider-Girl movie, I would strongly suggest that you use her. I mean, she's 25, I think, or 26 or 24. She's young. She looks even younger than that, and like. Why would you? I don't know. I think that girl is a very good actor. But I just don't really see her as a superhero. Honestly, I don't see her as Spider. I mean, I hope she proves me wrong. But I really do enjoy the animated. It's one of my favorite comic book movies is Into the Spider-Verse. So I really hope that this will. Stand up to that. It seems like it will. There's amazing reviews for it already. I think that part of the success was, you know, not just the storyline of Miles Morales, but like all of the different Spider-Mans that they brought into play. Like there was Nick Cage played one, the Noir. There was a Spider Pig that was John Mulvaney. There was the anime like Spider Bot robot that the little girl controlled, which was awesome. Like it was just so like weirdly amazing. And like then the Peter Parker who had given up, that was like, you know, fat and barely fit in a spider suit, and that was the guy from New Girl, Jack Johnson. Jake Johnson.
Yeah, Jake Johnson.
Jake Johnson. Oh, I was so close.
Yeah.
Didn't make it. That guy, he was amazing. So I just feel like all of the Like there was like a perfect storm of amazingness. And so I was a little bit worried about this because that movie was so good. The music was good. The style of animation was amazing. All of the voice actors were amazing. It was just on point, 100%. Like there's literally, I don't think there was not one thing that I could complain about that movie. So I'm kind of worried about this one coming up because how does the sequel ever live up to the first? And I guess the answer is animation. So I don't want them to sully this with live action. Honestly, I feel like they might fuck it up, and I don't want them to because it's so good. So I'm slightly nervous, but I do. This animation has a 96 or 98% on Rotten Tomatoes already. So I don't know. I feel like a live action is a little, it's a little sketch for me. I feel like we're riding a very amazing wave of amazing, you know, animation situation with Spider-Man, which honestly, since like way back in the day, that hasn't been done. Like we've been doing like the Tobey Maguire versions and the Andrew Garfield versions and then the Tom Holland versions. And then this cartoon thing to me is better than all of those. And I'm fond of many of those movies. Don't get me wrong. But this was my favorite. It was really, really, really good.
It's so good.
And
it's so good.
I don't know. I'm afraid they're gonna fuck it up if they do a live action version.
I don't know, but the thing is, like, if they get him back, if they can make it work, they've been doing so well with that. Like, maybe right, it's easier to do this in animation. Of course, they're crossing multiverses, crazy animation styles. There's a lot of heart in this new one, apparently. So hopefully it is. And of course, Spider-Woman, it's about time. Let's try it. We're throwing all this shit together, put them all in one movie together. And then Spider-Man 4, of course that's happening. All these movies make sense to me. And if you're branching off of Madam Web, that makes sense even more to me too. Like, why not, Sony? Cash in. Make that spider cash. That's all I can say. Right, Chris? Make that spider cash.
Exactly. And this is
It's
a
all
little
about money, Chris.
It is all about money. And Haley Steinfeld, right? Is that how you say her name? It's rumored that she's hanging out lately with Josh Allen. This is a little off topic. Josh Allen is a superstar quarterback for the Buffalo Bills.
Oh, geez.
Oh, word.
So I think he went to University of Wyoming, and he's a great quarterback. I think was Buffalo, they made it pretty close last year to the Super Bowl, right?
They did not make it to the Super Bowl.
That's definitely not a Brian question.
But Josh Allen, he's a great quarterback, and apparently they've been hanging out in New York City together a little bit.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Hey, there's some more hot gossip out there on Kruse Control, everybody. Check it out. That's cool. I mean, good. I mean, honestly, she's in the limelight. You're bound to meet more people. That happens too when you're doing all these kind of projects, and you just become open to more people in the world that are doing the same thing you are. So
where's that breaking news graphic?
You know what that's called,
yeah,
Chris? Right? Can we do it 3 times in one show? That's the question.
No. Yeah, 3 times is
that might be too much. That might be too much. But, you know, Spider-Man's coming in multiple versions. Of course, you can see Into the Spider-Verse right now, or I should say across, it's so confusing. Across the Spider-Verse, you can see right now in your local theater. Go right after this show because why not? It's going to be fun. It's good for the family. It's good for the kids. It's good for everybody. And you're getting some more Tom Holland. You're getting some more Spider-Woman. You're getting some more Miles Morales and live action. Spider-Man's going to be going big. So it's not ending anytime soon.
I got an email just a little while ago that if you're a Regal Club member, you get for $7 you can go see Miles Morales tonight. And there might be something about an icy involved. I don't know. I didn't read it too hard because I had
that icy. Get that spider icy, but do not buy the burger at Burger King because that looks disgusting. Anyways, everybody, thank you so much for being here on Kruse Control tonight. Appreciate you so much. So does the pep star right here. He's saying hi. He wanted to come in for a second. Chris, thank you so much for being here as always. Everybody, check out Chris's stuff. It's amazing. See Fab Media in the house. Chris, take it away. Amazing. Tell everyone about your projects a little bit more.
Hey guys, thank you so much again. I always love being on the show. Love the energy. Love hanging out with you guys. So I'm a photographer. I sell landscape prints. Basically, I sell high quality prints on metal. Oh, look at that. There we go right there. Metal, canvas. And
it's on my desk. It's all on my desk since you gave it to me.
Awesome. So that picture that Sabrina is showing, it's a picture of downtown Los Angeles, and it's 17 pictures stitched together to make one amazing panoramic picture. So I do all sorts of photography, but mostly landscape is my primary thing.
Nice. And it's
he
all
also does really good headshots. I don't know if you do that anymore, but he took my headshots and they are epic.
Yeah. I still do headshots if people ask, weddings, all that stuff. That's more people ask, but I do it all. Yeah, I have fun. It's a huge passion.
Chris, honestly, love having you here. Everyone needs to check out your stuff. And of course, if you're looking for Chris Fabregas, everybody, you can find him how? At Chris Fabregas. You can find him on Facebook. You can find him on Instagram. You can find him on Twitter. You can find him on YouTube. You can find him everywhere. Check out his stuff. You can see the lower third right now. Check out Chris's stuff because Chris is fantastic. And he's definitely a huge friend of the show. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you.
Anyways, Chris.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it. Sabrina, thank you so much for being here as always, my lovely co-host. Thank you for being here on Kruse Control today on this special Thursday edition.
Thank you,
and everybody,
Chris.
Yeah, thank you, Chris. And
Thank you.
everybody out there, thank you. Thank you so much for joining Kruse Control. Please like and subscribe. Join our Patreon if you can. And as always, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your uncles, your aunts, your cousins, your nephews, your step-uncles, your step-uncles, your grandpas and your grandmas, your uncles and aunts, your great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandpa, because he's still alive, typing on that computer somehow, locked into the fucking Matrix, yelling at that squirrel that's fucking doing holes in his yard with that gopher, and they're making love, and they're having great fucking babies with fucking Lewis, who's a huge raccoon. He's fucking enormous. I don't know what the fuck that motherfucker's eating, but he's awesome. I love him so much. And Peppy, he's crying over here in a corner. Peppy, subscribe to Kruse Control. Subscribe to Kruse Control. And forget about that fucking chinchilla. Fuck you, chinchilla. Anyways, everybody, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you as always. Have a great Thursday. We will not be back tomorrow on Friday, unfortunately. We'll be back on Monday for our regular schedule. And we can't wait to see you then. And sorry about the chat
see the
tonight.
Yankees and the Dodgers tomorrow night. Eat it.
Yeah. Thank you in the chat. Thank you again, Chris. Sabrina, thank you so much. And as always, see ya.
See ya.
Bye, guys.